for the past 3 days, the rise in the cost of food across the country have been quite alarming. Many Nigerians are lamenting, saying they can no longer afford to feed their families 3 times a day, as the prices of basic food items have doubled. Because I want to hear what's going on in Enugu and also what's happening in Osun before we bring in our other guests. Mr. Chukuma, so we read in the papers today, the South, I think it's Asetu was saying that Southeast is self-sufficient in piggery, that they can feed themselves, they don't need cow meat. What are your thoughts on this, and how has it been in that area concerning importation of food and foodstuff from the north?
Pig meat is no replacement for cow meat because it's a well-known fact. So our people enjoy the cow meat, but I think the Lord actually just made a statement, and I want to interpret that statement in 3 ways. First, it's a way of demonstrating the importance, the great and huge importance in the nation as regards to the food chain. So just a single move like that, we already see like across the southern part of the country, there's already a food crisis. Now the question I'm asking, and I want to ask the southern part of the country, in a time like this, do you really have any product you send to the north that you can also like use, to make a statement? And that drives us to revisit agriculture, not just to demonstrate a point to another brother, but also to grow to that point where once more as a people, we can begin to manage food affairs for other African countries.
All right, so I wanted to take this conversation to all the various reasons why we're having insufficient food in the southern part. And I'd like to hear from the Commissioner for Information, who recently said that all is well. Could you give us an update exactly on what you're doing exactly and what has been done so far?
We have noticed supplies are coming in already. But like I said in that press release that you are referring to, the governor, Mr. Biden, is on top of the matter. He's going to call both sides. There's going to be a meeting, and he's going to tell them to take it easy, that whatever may have caused this crisis, you do not need to escalate it. That 2 wrongs don't make a right. And he will tell them to embrace it and then put in place so many measures to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Let me move on now to the Chief Press Secretary of the Osun State Government, Mr. Ismail Omigbidan. Could you give us an update on what's happening concerning food supply to your state?
Let me start off this way. That one, as a government, we believe very strongly that we need each other as Nigerians. And my principal has always maintained the fact that we should not, under whatever circumstances, ethnicize criminality. If we look at our state, for example, what are the staple foods here? What do we eat? Pounded yam, gari, eko, the one we call udi, either eko or udi. Then rice and beans. Now, if you look at all of these food items, how many are produced in the north? Beans. Although we may have issues with maybe tomato and onions, but as a government that is very, very proactive, long even before this crisis, we had invested heavily in our agricultural sector. For instance, as I speak to you, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agric, we are doing 10,000 hectares where we create farm settlements in all the 3 senatorial districts across the state. We already have one in Osun West, located in Ede.
Let me pause you for a second. I'm told I have the chairman of the Mile 12 market in Lagos. Is Alhaji Shehu Usman. The Commissioner for Information Lagos has said that they're having conversations with the various parties, stakeholders, to ensure that there's food supply into Lagos State. Could you help us confirm this from your end at Mile 12?
Mile 12 is a different ball game. We are the biggest vegetable market, not even in Nigeria, in West Africa, where you have abundant food stores. And we have already made a press statement concerning this the so-called strike, that we are not part of that strike because we have no business, we have no problem with Lagos State government. we have no problem with the people of Lagos State. So there's absolutely no reason why we should embark in something that has to do with people's lives. And apart from that, immediately we understand that something like this is going to happen because most of those things come from the north. We met our sisters, business people from Cotonou Republic, some from Ghana, and some even from the north, that they should make sure that Lagos State did not suffer because Lagos State have done so much for us, particularly during the pandemic, because only Maltese market that you can have your goods. And of course, it means they have saved a lot of money for us so that we don't lose. Because if you don't bring it from the farm, it means what you have in the farm will perish. And if you go to Maltese market now, I can tell you, you have abundant onions, abundant tomato. We don't even know anything is happening, except the fact that maybe the supply may not be enough, but we don't have any issue at all.
Okay.